Ready to begin your business? Should you be an LLC or a C corporation? How do you track the cost of goods versus operating supplies? What are your depreciable assets? Are you structured to obtain business credit? Not sure? Get a BOSS, an individual business operations success suite from Elite 8 Tax and Financial Services will position your business for success and avoid the pitfalls of startups. From registering with your state, operating agreements, bookkeeping, tax filings, and more, Elite 8 Tax and Financial Services can be your growth partner at every level of your business. Schedule your needs assessment today at www.elite8financial.com/boss or by phone at 469-412-0056.
This is Dr. Tamia Guest with Rejuvenating Chiropractic.
This is Nara Reed with Modified Nutrition Health Coach.
This is Karen Marcel with June Street Barbershop.
This is Tiffany Marcel with Marcel Luxury Realty, and you're listening to Boss Talk Radio.
I paid the cost to be born.
Knowledge, integrity, security, service.
Get behind the shield.
Top of the morning, everybody. Top of the morning. So, as you probably figured out by now, we've changed the format a bit. Instead of jamming everything into a 2.5-hour session on Fridays, we've did a breakout of all of the segments of the show, the boss term of the week, boss motivation, tax tips, and 5 minutes of fire, so that on Friday, we can focus on whichever guest or topic that we have. Speaking of which, this morning, if you follow my personal page, I put out some information directly from SBA as it relates to PPP. And a lot of people have been asking me about PPP and EIDL or what have you. And I'll just go ahead and apologize to you guys. I really wasn't interested in reading a bunch of manuscript from it, as they were still making a lot of changes. And what we had was a lot of people rushing to be first to give you information. I'm not going to speak on my thoughts on that, but it's not always best to be first. Same as it is when filing your tax returns. It's not always best to be first. I mean, even just as recently as earlier this week, there was some last minute changes to one of the forms that's going to be necessary for this upcoming tax season. So nevertheless, if you're in the Boss Talk Radio group or if you are in the on my personal page, you will see information directly from the SBA regarding the new round of PPP. The application opened, I believe, yesterday. And on this Friday, we're going to have our friends from TrueFund back on with us to actually discuss the new PPP, the requirements to get it, any forgivable part of it, any grants or what have you. So what I'd like you guys to do is go either to sba.gov and or to the post I made earlier this morning and read through some of the requirement. They have it by bullet points, but you can open each one and really get some information. And so I want you guys to go through that and prepare your questions for TrueFund. Now, if you are in the Texas, Louisiana, Alabama, Georgia, or Carolinas, TrueFund will be able to assist you in getting this new round of PPP. So you definitely want to have your questions together. We'll have their contact information. We'll also have the applications. I'll probably post the applications later today, time permitted, so don't hold me to that. but they can definitely help you streamline that process. So let's go ahead and get right into today's term of the week. I get a lot of questions about investing. George, should I invest in Bitcoin? George, how do I invest in this? George, and so the thing is, while I have many certified financial planners in my network, I'm not one of them. So I cannot give you guys investment advice from a legal standpoint. However, I can always tell you that there are some things you should have in place before you consider making any type of investment. So the first rule to investing, well, we're going to talk about that with the term of the day. The term of the day is risk tolerance, which is the degree of variability in investment returns that an investor is willing to withstand in their financial planning. Risk tolerance is an important component in investing, and here's what that means in layman's terms. You wouldn't, or you shouldn't, because there are some people that do. You shouldn't go to a casino and only have your mortgage money or rent money to gamble. You have no risk tolerance if that's all the disposable income you have, because it's really not disposable. So the first rule with risk tolerance is that you don't want to invest anything you may need in a short window of time. So obviously, not only must you have money to cover your bills, but you also need to have a stash for emergencies. Good friend to the show, Brian Joubert, earlier, probably about October, fourth quarter, he had a challenge that he set out there for you guys, which was to get your savings account to $1,000. And the logic behind that was simply that it's kind of like when you're going to the gym or working out. When you start to first see those results, it becomes intrinsic motivation. You want to see more results, so you go harder. So the threshold was get your savings account to $1,000, because once you do that, then obviously you can duplicate the methods to do that again. And so once you have that aside, there used to be a time where people sat at the kitchen table and balanced their checkbooks or whatever. As people got away from that, what I'm noticing is that many people actually do not know. They really do not know how much money it requires to maintain their household. If you ask them what their mortgage payment is, they can tell you, or their rent, they can tell you. But if they had to pop a figure right off the top of their head that was all inclusive of utilities, all their streaming services and internets and groceries and whatever it takes to cut the grass, or whether that's a lawn man or your own personal lawnmower or whatever, they don't know this number. So it's hard to have a 6-month reserve put away when you don't know exactly how much you even need. So in order to determine your risk tolerance, you really have to know what's needed, have something in reserve for that, and then you have money to play with. Some people don't like when I say that term, but investing is really playing with the money. You're putting something at risk in hopes for a return. So, before you start learning candlesticks and options and calls and puts and all of these different things that's in the market, you have to start with your very, very basics of understanding your risk tolerance, which ultimately comes down to what can you afford to lose. And that's not just a monetary thing, because some people it's psychological. Like for me, case in point, the hardest part of investing for me is actually losing. True story. I go to the casino. I can count the times on one hand I've ever been to one, But if I go into the casino and I put $20 in a machine or whatever, and I win $5 or $10, I'm out. I'm gone. Reason being, because I'm up. So what are the chances of me really winning big if all I'm willing to lose is $20? And let's be clear, when I lose $20, I'm upset. Now sometimes I'm in straight baller mode and I'm willing to risk $40. But that's the thing. For me, it's like, okay, this is harder. Now, for some reason, I can put more money in the market than I can put in a machine at a casino or whatever. But I guess I'm under the illusion that I understand the market more or whatever, which is really a big ball of emotions as far as how it moves. So the next part that you want to have in place is life insurance. We need to get past this barrier where we believe that life insurance is strictly for burial. If you understand the different types of life insurance, which most people don't, and the different methods of employing life insurance, the reality is it can be used for anything from retirement to living benefits in the event that you get ill or whatever the case may be. But more importantly, in a time of absolute financial, distress or emotional distress, if for some reason you were going, this is money that doesn't have to pass through all of these different, all of these different things for your loved ones to benefit from it. So that should be your very first investment, and then from there, you get into the risk tolerance of these other things. So I implore you guys, if you haven't done so already, today or before this week is out, go ahead and actually compute the cost of running your household, and don't make the mistake of trying to quote unquote budget. Don't try to strip yourself down and say, hey, I'm going to cut back on this entertainment or this type of meal or whatever the case may be. Let it be what it is so you can really see what it is you're spending. And if you can categorize that thing or whatever, that'd be great. But when you do that, then start the mission of setting aside the reserves for that. There's some of you, and we can tell by your reaction to COVID. I mean, this is going on for just short of a year now, 10 months now, or what have you. And some of you were just completely frantic, 2 weeks into the shutdown. There was no reserve set aside. And outside of that, your life looked great on the outside looking in, but it's like you're enjoying more than your share of income at that point. You're paying interest for the interest in having it before you can afford it. So again, when it comes to investing, the first rule is really already having a reserve. The second part is having life insurance. If you don't have those two things in place prior to, there's absolutely no purpose in you considering getting into things that are more risky than that. So if you need any assistance finding a certified financial planner or financial advisor, you can give us a call at 866-235-4838. We have many CFPs throughout our network. If you do not have life insurance, you really need to take care of that first, and we can assist you with that. Go to www.elite8financial.com/life-insurance services, and there's an application there. It's more of a discovery sheet. Let us know some more about you so we can help make a needs assessment and recommend some things for you. Understand that I'm a non-captive agent, which means that no company benefits from me making a recommendation. I can make a recommendation based on what you truly need, not driven by any company influences or things of that nature. So again, that number is 866-235-4838. Join us on tomorrow where we'll do 5 minutes of fire. We'll figure out the time on that because I may not get up as early on that one. But again, if you need a financial planner, give us a call. We can point you in the right direction regardless of what state you are in. This has been your Boss Term of the Week. I will see you guys on tomorrow.